Why are you holding the senior night festivities after the game this year instead of before?
Well, we have 4 seniors, 4 managers, 3 national anthems. It gets rushed, it gets crammed into a small time. I just felt like after the game, there's more of an opportunity, I think, to have more people in the stands that want to stay, and people, don't feel like we have to be rushed. So I just thought we'd try it and see if we like it, but I think it'll be good.
And I said to ask you if Paige will be going on the wall tomorrow night.
Who said they asked me that?
Anna?
Anna did?
Asked me first.
I asked.
Did you?
Yes, because in the past you had done Fee and Lou on their senior night.
That was a different time, a different era. So, no, not tomorrow night. Maybe Villanova. I think tomorrow night's about all the seniors. So, not tomorrow night.
This is an unusual senior year because everybody can come back if they want to. Have you talked to them and said, listen, you only get one senior night, pick whether it's now or
No,
a year
you can't
from now?
because Dorka did too. And Aubrey's coming back next year and she's doing it. So it's like everybody just wants to milk all these senior nights. Why what? What? Aubrey's coming back. Where's she going to go?
He hasn't told them that.
Well, I just told him. But I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I think when you most players, I think when they play 4 years, I think they probably feel like some sort of obligation that they had is met, and those that get cheated out of playing. And the reason I mention Aubrey is because she's missed effectively 2 years now, the back surgery and then this. So, I would think she would want to do another year because she only played 2 years, theoretically, But I think, the guys that have, in general, I think in college, guys that have played 4 years, especially now, after COVID's over, this won't be an issue anymore. Nobody will have that extra year. But yeah, I remember asking Dorka. I said, Dorka, you doing senior night? Does that mean you're leaving? She goes, I don't know. I said, okay. So that's the world we live in now. What do you want me to tell you?
Do you expect all 4 to make their decisions in March rather than now? Or?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think if they haven't said anything to me, they haven't said anything to you guys, they probably just have wanted to just concentrate on the season and you don't know. I mean, who was the most shocked person in the world when Azure left? I like, where'd that come from? It came out of the blue, 100% out of the blue. So I've learned to just, when's the free agent deadline? That's how you got to look at it right now. When's the first day that players can announce their free agents? That's almost how you got to approach it now.
How much, if at all, are you talking to these guys about what their WNBA draft stock looks like and what their prospects at the next level might look like, if they do choose to move on?
Yeah. They see it on their own, it's on, I'm sure it's on every website, it's constant stories about mock draft this, mock draft that. I don't know that anybody's told them specifically this is where, and I think Paige made a comment at one point, almost like for some kids maybe it is about where am I going in the draft, And maybe for other kids, it's like, do I want to stay in college or not? You know, I've often said, you know, when you look at, especially on the men's side, you know, and not to generalize, and certainly I don't know everybody's situation, but anytime a kid says, I'm leaving college early, and they're going to be undrafted because there's 300 of them, and only 60 guys are getting drafted, right? You know, they just don't like school. They're just ready to move on with their life, right? Now, fast forward, if you think you're going to be one top 10 pick, you know, and you go, okay, well, that's really cool. I want to go. Or, you know, I really like being here. This is not a bad life. I think it's each individual has to make that decision. It's not 30 million we're talking about, right? So I don't think for a lot of these kids it's a financial decision. I think it's a lifestyle decision.
They can make money here now.
Well, yeah, and the fact that you can make money when you're in school, you know, that, but like Diana said, you know, when she said there's something about being poor when you're in college. She goes, for me, it was like I was determined when I got to the pros, I'm going over to Europe and I'm going to be the highest paid player in the history of Europe. You know, like there was this motivation, and you know, some kids are motivated in that way, and others, it's not about that. You know, yeah, it's a weird time for sure.
This class has had such a unique journey between COVID and all the injuries and limited rosters. What are you most proud about? I mean, most classes will leave here and you can say, well, they won 3 national championships and the 4 Final Fours. What are you?
Mainly on my end, it reinforces how difficult it was to do what we did, to sit here after every senior year or after every senior night and talk about, oh, that kid was here 4 years, they went to 4 Final Fours. Well, how many places in America say that? You know, and you say, well, for 14 straight senior nights, all we talked about is their Final Four trips, their national championship trips and all that. And then when it doesn't happen, you realize just how incredibly difficult it is. Throw the injuries on top of that. So this team, this group of seniors, when you think about it, when they were freshmen, we were in COVID and then we were in the bubble. And it didn't even feel like going to the Final Four, but they somehow did go to the Final Four. And then the following year, we had injuries and they made it to the national championship game. Without Dorka, without half an AZ, you know, and you just go, man, they overcame a lot. And last year maybe it caught up to us without Paige, you know. And this year, hell, man, this has been the worst one ever in terms of how many people are missing and what we're dealing with. But somehow, some way, you know, they've managed to stay in there, and I know they're probably disappointed in, you know, in how this particular season has unfolded so far, both from a personal standpoint and their teammates and all that, to, you know, some of the games that we've not played exceptionally well in. It really has been quite a journey for them, and at no time did I ever get this feeling that they were, woe is me, feeling sorry for themselves, ever. No matter what happened.
Just tremendous mental toughness on their part.
Yeah. Or numbness, you know. Maybe they're just numb to it. But certainly, I think just to be able to go out and play all the time, you know. I think you see coaches now that are experiencing tremendous success for the very first time, and they see how hard it is to crank it out there every night when people are giving you their best shot. It's like, welcome to our world, right? And so to be able to hold up under those circumstances, yeah, it takes a lot of toughness.
obviously you're focused on the right now, but just all these question marks about who's coming, who's going, does that, like, how do you take that to plan into next year, knowing that you're already tight with scholarships next year?
Well, we won't be tight with scholarships if they all leave. And then if they all come back, we don't need a lot of scholarships, do we? So you just have to look at it as you prepare either way. Things change so quickly now. Between having a COVID year, between the portal, all the variables, it's hard. It's hard to construct the roster under these circumstances. But just happy that a lot of our young guys got a lot of time on the court. So if that's any consolation, they're going to be way ahead of the curve next year, and then we'll see. We'll see. It's it's a strange new world, man.
Was it nice to be able to get some of those seniors some rest last night? Well, especially if you're playing tomorrow after flying back last night.
I know, right? That's one of the crazy things about our non-conference schedule and all the national TV games that we have. They kind of cut into our bye, where everybody else is getting a rest. We're playing on national television against a top 5 team in the country usually. So it's crammed in, and yet you just got to play the games you got to play, and the thing that's interesting, we were talking today, and there's a part of me that thinks that a lot of these kids have played so much basketball when they were young that you worried like they're basketballed out. Like you only have so many times up and down the floor in your life, and if you use them all up before you get to 20 or 18 with some of these kids, and you wonder the toll that it takes on their body and their mind, physically, emotionally. Then the pressure of having to perform really well every night. It's a lot, but then the other side of me says that, I remember being their age and I was never as good as they were, but I do remember that the only time you were tired is when somebody asked you to do something you didn't feel like doing. You go to work all day long, right? And you're like, I'm tired, man. I need a nap. Phone rings, you go, yo, you want to go out? Pick me up in 15 minutes. So when you're a kid, adrenaline starts to get in and the game comes and you just want to play. But having said that, it's a lot to ask when you don't have an opportunity to get some time, to recharge during a game. Forget, the day before and all that stuff, the actual game is what I think, you want to play great every night, and, game sold out Monday. Our kids want to play. Game sold out. When we play going over here, kids want to play. What's left? 5 left, Anna? 5 games left?
Yeah.
3 here, 2 on the road, right? Yeah. So goes by fast, right?
There was a horrific scene in Kansas City yesterday with the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. You've probably been involved in as many victory parades as anyone in the country. I don't know how that news hit you, and if you'd be willing to share any thoughts you had as you saw the news unfold yesterday.
It's, I've said this a lot, at some point the bullshit about thoughts and prayers are with everybody solves absolutely nothing. Makes nobody feel better. Those are just words that come out of people's mouth because it makes them feel like, I'm saying the right thing. Man, it's a lot of thoughts and prayers that are going over in the last 20-some years, and those thoughts and prayers aren't necessarily being answered, and people's lives are being torn upside down, and there's a lot. There's a lot of hard things in this country that don't have to be this hard, and there's a lot of kids paying a price for being in places where they should be having fun. They're at school, they're in the playground, they're at a parade. It's just, I don't know. Where else do people treat their children like we do here? I don't get it. I don't get it.
The first NCAA reveals tonight the top 16.
No!
Obviously, it doesn't matter too much.
Are we still in?
How do you feel about it?
Did they reveal it yet? Did they reveal it yet?
No, it's at 6:30. Sorry, it's at
6:30, so nobody knows? No leaks? Man. I know, right? Top 16. Wow. I just hope we make the NCAA tournament, The way people have been talking about it, it's like our season, should end after the Big East tournament. But I didn't believe when they had us playing someplace, and I didn't believe them when they said we were a 2 seed. We should have been a 1 seed last year with our strength of schedule and how many teams we beat that were in the top 20. So, what do I know? All we can do is win tomorrow, win Monday, let the chips fall where they may. I don't think it's going to matter one way or the other. You're going to have to play wherever they tell you to play and whoever they tell you to play against. But I guess there's still hope, though, for the season, right? There was a 6-loss team last year that was number 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a chance, as Jim Carrey said.
How
I
do you
just think there's a chance.
How do you view your team's potential if it makes everything go right for a month from now? Like, odds are you can have the best player on the court in any given game.
Could.
A team like that can never be discounted. I know
True.
some games haven't gone as you had hoped.
Correct.
A recent one included. But does this team have potential in what it has available to do something eye-opening?
Us at our absolute best, projecting that every player that we put out on the floor plays their A game. I mean, there are some teams out there, if the matchups are bad, we could play our A game and not win and get knocked out. We could not play our best game and get knocked out by anybody, really. So obviously it's different than some other years where, we go into the NCAA tournament. If we play our A game, we're going to win no matter if you play your A+ game. We don't have that luxury now, and we're, the margin is so small. The margin is just really, really thin, and everything would have to break right for us to go far in the tournament. The only way we can win against the best teams is we have to make open shots. It's not like we're going to kill them on the boards. We're going to press them to death. We're going to, whatever ways you can think of to win. We have to make shots. And if we do, then we give ourselves a chance. And that's it. That's about as close as I can get to describing it.